I shared this last time, but we were chilling, so maybe it's now time. How game reviews actually affect you. Game reviews do affect people's perception of a game, 1,000,000%. That's why game review journalists like have a business. That's why they have a career. That's why they have little companies that do this shit, because the reviews do matter.
Hey there. Before we get started,
Trick or treat,
quick
smell my
reminder that
feet,
part
gave me
2 of the
something good to
backlog
eat. Now I
video
got
is
that
coming
stupid
in
song
next
stuck in my head.
I hope you're ready. Let me knock out this word from our sponsor real quick, then we'll get the show started. Thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video, and thanks for being the browser that I genuinely use every day. If you haven't heard, Opera GX is quite simply the browser for gamers, and it is absolutely free. I'm going to tell you about a few
Yo,
of the
get that damn browser on my face, bro. I downloaded that browser and like a bunch of shit started going like wrong on my computer. Get me out of here, bro. Yeah, bro.
68. Two researchers have just given a test to all of the students of an elementary school. The teachers are told that this test would determine who among the
You said Xenoblade? Wait, you said I ain't using this browser. I uninstalled it recently. It keeps running behind the scenes. Yo, I don't know, bro. You said Brave is better? Bro, when I had the Opera gaming shit, I remember I was using that browser and it was like decent for the first couple of days. But then afterwards, it was just like, it started acting real glitchy. And I was like, get this shit off my thing. I just re-downloaded Chrome because I'm like, at least Chrome is consistent. Even though Chrome has its moments where it's stupid, it's more consistent.
student body would be sure to bloom. Which of these promising young minds had the most likely chance of becoming a true scholar? Here's the catch. The test didn't mean a damn thing. It didn't evaluate their academic potential. It was actually just a copy of the Declaration of Independence with every instance of the word men replaced with bad bitches. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all bad bitches are created equal. I made that part up. But the fact remains that the test meant nothing. The point was not to research the students, it was to research the teachers. You see, each instructor was given a small list of kids in their class that were identified by the exam as bloomers, when unbeknownst to the teachers, these kids were just picked at random. The test had nothing to do with it. And do you know what happened? At the end of the school year, the researchers came back to check
Why is he talking about this? Aren't we talking about video game reviews, bro?
up on these secretly randomly selected gifted kids. They gave them an IQ test and, sure enough, they showed significantly greater gains than their fellow non-bloomer students. And do you want to know what's even stranger? This study has been replicated more than a few times with similar results, which begs the question, what the hell does this have to do with game reviews? Well, my friend,
That's exactly what I said like 20 seconds ago. What does this have to do with game reviews?
Surprised, because video games are like children. This is a weird start. Neither can really be fully defined by a single test or evaluation. You can give a child an exam, and you can review a game, but the results of neither of these gives you an all-encompassing truth about the depth of who that child is or will become, much less what that game is, can be, or what it will be to you when you play it. Maybe the child had a cold in that exam.
That's very true. Extremely true. And I felt that with Callisto Protocol. That's like the only game I feel like I could give a good example with, where like everybody was like, oh yeah, this shit's ass. But when I played it, I was like, dude, I had a lot of fucking fun with this.
Was administered. Maybe the reviewer of that game is already a massive fan of the series. Maybe that's your favorite series. What do you mean it's only a 7? Maybe that's your favorite child. What do you mean they aren't gifted? The point is, reviews, much like exams, only give us a snapshot of a game that often tell us less about the game itself and more about how people are going to treat that game moving forward. Not to say that all reviews are bullshit or that they don't help us make decisions about game purchases, they certainly do, but they do a lot more than that, whether we consciously realize it or not. And that's what I want to talk about today. Because as you're probably thinking after hearing that fake exam study, there is far...
Bro, what is up with this man's editing? Hold up, brother.
Game, but the results of neither of the...
Hold up, brother. Oh, I'm already subscribed to him. Oh, I was gonna sub, but I'm already subbed. That's a little bit suspicious. Oh no, my browser's frozen. Great. Well, GG's. You shared him before? Okay, I'm gonna leave that refreshed.
These gives you an all-encompassing truth about the depth of who that child help us make decisions about game purchases. They certainly do, but they do a lot more than that, whether we consciously realize it or not. And that's what I want to talk about today. Because as you're probably thinking after hearing that fake exam study, there is far more to the story here. In preparation for this video, I have pored over more studies about reviews than I ever cared to do again. I have polled you about how often you rely on reviews, and I have used reviews far more often than I like to admit for the past year as I've been navigating this whole...
Everybody's gonna use reviews because it's the safest and smartest thing to do. Because if we remember correctly, when we were children, we didn't go off reviews. What did we go off by, chat? Video game covers. There were no reviewers like that back in the day. All we could really just do is look at a video game cover and maybe a trailer, if a trailer is even available, and if you even have internet access to see the trailers, and or the TV commercials, because we're talking about like back in the day. All we could pretty much go off is by the cover, the box art. And from there, we're supposed to like, in our heads, come up with like a scenario of like, okay, maybe the game is like this. And then when you get it, it's something completely different. And I've had those moments a lot as a kid where like I see a cover of a game and I'm like, dude, this shit is gonna be badass. You play the game and you're like, what the fuck did I just buy? I've had those moments. And that's why now I look at reviews, because at least in reviews, you have an idea of, is the game at least decent enough for me to purchase money or like spend money on it? Because that's the worst thing in the world, is buying a game, playing it, because you bought it based off the box art, and then you're like, damn, I spent $50 on this shit, but this shit is ass. I don't even want to play it anymore. I didn't even know that this game was like this. You said Kingdom Hearts be like, oh, hell no. Kingdom Hearts, they cooked with that shit. Kingdom Hearts had fire box art, and then when you got into the game, they gave you a story. You might not understand that shit all the way, but they gave you an experience and a story that you will not forget, and that's why the Kingdom Hearts fan base is so the way that they are. That's why I'm a crazy Kingdom Hearts fan, and I don't even have the full lore down packed. Like, the mobile game, I didn't play that shit, but I love Kingdom Hearts. I grew up with that shit. It was amazing.
Whole gaming backlog project that all comes to blows next
month.
Oh
no,
backlog?
Backlog?
It has not all gone to shit. Relax. And I have compiled all of this here to present to you in an interesting manner today. So without further ado, let's talk about reviews. I should not be doing this professionally. If you're a gamer that pays attention to reviews, and surveys say you probably are, one of the first things that comes to mind is likely this whole song and dance. There is a game that comes out, it is reviewed, people are upset, and that's the whole song and dance. It's a very short routine. But I've kind of found over the years that it takes two forms. One is the inevitable questioning of journalistic integrity from large review outlets, accusations of reviewers being paid.
Nah, that's true. Because people do say that, like sometimes there's like people who do like under the table money, like, hey, give us a good review. I'll toss over to you like $5,000 type shit. And it happens. It happens.
Off, or the eventual video like this popping up later on down the line. The other form is just buzz from your fellow internet schmuck. The Twitter timeline being aglow with every hot take you can imagine. The Steam reviews filled with every variety of impressively well-articulated to impressively comedic descriptions of games. But nonetheless, they appear in front of our faces and we have to make sense of them. And one 2019 study categorized these two forms of reviews and tried to understand the discrepancies between the video game press, what they label the experts, and casual gamers, or quote-unquote amateurs. And I think this is an important...
That's bullshit. The video game press are considered as experts. The press, the fuckers that couldn't pass the fucking Cuphead tutorial stage are considered as the experts. If anything, this shit gotta get flipped around. The casual gamers, aka us, is in my opinion the experts, and the press is the amateurs, if anything.
And casual gamers, or quote-unquote amateurs. And I think this is an important discrepancy to understand because it's in these differences that I think we find some truth about what reviews actually capture about games and how they affect people. By aggregating over 1 million reviews from Metacritic, the researchers built a large-scale data set of reviews that were from both experts and amateurs. Some of the key findings were that amateurs tend to give much more polarized ratings of games. Amateurs tend to continually rate games surprisingly long after game release and are positively biased towards older games.
No, I mean, I would rather take the reviews over the casual gamers over the the OGs. Because what I like about the casual gamers is that one, they put more hours into the game than the freaking considered journalists. Because the journalists, if you think about it, they probably put in like 10, 20 hours max in a game, maybe 30. But if it's a casual gamer, they're putting way more hours into the game. They're probably like 100%ing the game and doing everything. All the side quests, all the discoverables, everything. I would rather take their review because then they'll tell you what the bullshit is. They'll tell you what's the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. And I'd rather listen to them because they played the whole shit. You said Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, though? I'm not going to lie. In the future, I wouldn't mind giving it another go. I wouldn't mind. But we keep it pushing.
Can't imagine why. But the key takeaways for me came in the post-research discussion where the researchers state that experts employ a clinical, detached writing style which reflects their experience and is reflected in their unimodal rating distribution. Amateurs, on the other hand, use emotionally charged language and award rather extreme...
Yes, it's good that... I feel like it's good when they show like emotionally charged... Even though it's funny, it's just funny in general for reviews. It's good because you see that they're passionate about it. Yes, exactly. NX Nero is because it's real. That's what I like about these reviews, because it shows the passion that they had behind the game. So then if I see somebody like, if Persona 6 came out, right? And it was bad, God forbid. Persona 6 comes out, it's bad. The reviewers would be like, I played Persona 3, it was great. Persona 4 was amazing. I enjoyed the characters, the cast, the voice acting. Persona 5 was a gem in its own. Persona 6 is a disgrace to the Persona, franchise. I cannot believe that I put 70 hours into this garbage. I want to hear their review. I'm going to be like, all right, tell me why is it bad? I want to hear what the fuck they got to say. I don't want to hear it from all these other people.
Ratings. They appear dedicated to either glorify games or express their grievances with them, and at times to signal their disagreement with experts. The writers go on to say that both amateurs and experts are pretty damn good at predicting a game's actual long-term popularity, so clearly both crowds are playing the same game, but they also believe that gauging overall public opinion of a video game requires adequately discounting the emotion in the often extreme video game ratings and reviews by amateurs to distill actionable feedback for developers. In other words, both crowds tend to agree, but there is a portion of the amateur crowd that takes this really personally.
Yo, why Arnold look like
something
that?
That's rarely found in expert reviews. For some folks that do write amateur reviews, whether they be properly done here or hurriedly done here, I think we can all agree that sometimes there is a bit of actually at play.
This guy's delusional as fuck. Prey is an incredible experience. IGN also gave Alien Isolation a 4 out of 10. Yo.
Especially if a respected reviewer didn't see things your way in regards to a game release you've been salivating over for months. And I think this is a big reason for the outliers, why there is so much more variance in amateur reviews. Since the expert reviews come out first, I think it often leaves the rest of us in a reactionary state. If you play a game after seeing a review...
No, but then there's some games like Spider-Man 2, I'm gonna be honest. Some games, I don't give a fuck about the review. Like, when Spider-Man 2 was announced, 2 years ago or whatever, and they showed that trailer, I was already like, I'm getting it. I don't care what the reviewers say. I'm buying that shit day one. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to buy that shit, and I'm gonna fucking play it.
Your experience with that title is predicated by that review. And so naturally, you're going to either agree or disagree, typically a little more extremely in one direction or the other as you attempt to process what you play. What you have to be careful about is a self. One of the silliest things about video game reviews is that we try to assign a neat little number to them or a star rating that is supposed to sum up at a glance how good it is, just like we would do for the staples around the block. But unfortunately, all the intricacies of Starfield cannot be summed up as easily as the poor customer service Cherry got a month ago. Now, of course, many game reviews do carefully describe these intricacies, but we all know damn well we've all been guilty of just checking these numbers and then going about our business.
True, because sometimes, in life, we ain't got that kind of time to be like, okay, let me look through all these other variable sources that are talking about the game as well to see if there's any negative reviews. I ain't got that kind of time. If I see that review shit pop up that guy usually posts on Twitter and he has all the big heads there, right? IGN, Game Informer, like the PlayStation magazines, the Xbox magazines, like if they got the big heads there, like posting the reviews, why the hell am I gonna now like start doing research on like these lesser journalists and shit? If anything, I'm going to Metacritic. If anything, like if I want to do extra research, I'm going on Metacritic. I'm going straight to the user reviews, not the pros or the critics. I'm going straight to the user reviews and I'm gonna see what they're saying, if anything.
Many games these days are near living, breathing worlds. There'll be a different experience.
Yo, speaking of Zelda, bro, if I'm playing anything today, it might be Zelda. I don't even know, bro, because I feel bad that I didn't even get far in this game, and I really want to play Tears of the Kingdom, and I want to experience what this game is about. I feel bad that I kind of just like started it and then I just stopped. Like, I really want to fucking play this shit. I still have it. Like, if anything, I'll just bring down my other Switch and I'll just pop it in here and I'll try to play it.
For everyone who plays them.
You say, could you
And yet
stream
we
it?
continually
If
try to
anything, I feel like I
crunch
have to.
all this down to a single quantifiable value. Because
Sekiro was
admittedly, it's
goated.
a good conversation starter, but it's also neat and gives our minds a
Sea of Stars, Lies of P got an 8. I heard a lot of people say Lies of P was great, but I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale. Starfield got a 7. It says to infinity, but not beyond. I don't know if this. I think this is IGN, right? Sea of Stars. I've heard some stuff of Sea of Stars. Game looks cute. I don't know what the game is about, but
quick, readily understandable metric.
you said what dungeon am I at in Zelda? I'm literally just starting to do the water stuff. I'm in the beginning, dude. I haven't done damn near anything. I did a little bit of the fire shit, but then once I got into the volcano, I didn't have any fire resistant clothes, so I had to leave. There's like a lot of shit.
Use to make a judgment call. Should I buy this? Should I put a ton of hours into it? Is it worth replaying or 100%ing? A review score gives us a reference point to begin making evaluations with, just like the fake exam results did for the teachers in the Bloomer study.
We're going back to
Let's
this,
talk
okay?
about why those kids that were randomly labeled as gifted grew so much more. Upon receiving the IQ
Oh, they said that the kids. Wait, the experiment group. The experiment group are kids that they told them that they're gifted and then they did better. I just need to confirm this. Yeah? So the reason why they did better, I don't even have to hear his explanation, is because it's a placebo effect. It's a placebo. You told someone, hey, you're gifted. If you tell somebody, especially like in school, hey, you're gifted, you're one of the smart kids, automatically in your head, a switch is going to flip where you're automatically just going to be like, I'm going to do better. I'm going to perform better. I'm going to study. I'm going to make sure I do my homework because I am given this role as a gifted student. I don't know. Like, it's weird. It's so weird. It's literally like this placebo bullshit. Only the teachers?
kids that were randomly labeled as
Let me
gifted grew so much more. Upon receiving the IQ results at the conclusion of the study, the researchers asked the teachers if they treated the bloomers any differently than the other students. The only difference they reported was spending slightly less time with them. But in follow-up studies similar to this one, researchers found that teachers do in fact treat bloomers just slightly differently. They create a warmer emotion.
They do. The smart kids in class, they get like this little, like that's why in school we call them the teacher's pet. The teacher's pet were those students. The ones that sat in front of the class. Every time the teacher asked a question, they're the first one to put their head, oh, me, oh, me, teacher. Oh, whenever the teacher needed help with something, they were like they were like the dick suckers. Like the teacher's like, oh, I have these packets in class. Oh, teacher, can I help pass them out? I want to pass out the packets. Like, man, fuck you, you little bitch, you little dick sucker, fuck you.
Emotional climate for them, more encouragement, more
I want to pass out the
more
packets.
attention. Bloomers get more material, harder material. The teachers give them better feedback and more opportunities to respond in class and longer to respond. In a nutshell, the expectation that these kids are going to be smarter creates a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes, exactly. If you make them feel like they're special, it's literally all a placebo, man. Cause think about it. Imagine like you in a scenario, right? Grand Gonzalo probably like sitting in a room sad or some shit. Right? He's like, damn, bro, I ain't shit. And then a random, like you get like 2 random people just going up to you, Grand Gonzalo, every day. Like, yo, Grand Gonzalo, you're so smart, bro. You're so fucking smart. You got this shit. You ain't no bitch. And it's like somebody you look up to, like a teacher per se. Like let's just use a teacher as an example. They constantly telling you like, yo, man, you are so smart. I know you're so smart. You got this shit. It motivates you. And then you feel like, all right, if people are telling me I'm smart, maybe I am smart. And then you start putting it into your own head.
Where teachers ensure that their preconceptions become
Yes.
reality, which is something that doesn't happen if there are no preconceptions. And look, if you think I'm saying that us consuming reviews for games is just like teachers consuming advanced aptitude tests for students and that our perceptions of those games are entirely molded by our expectations, then yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. If a game has dazzling reviews, you might give it just a little bit more leniency than you would
Yes.
if that exact same game was surrounded by negative.
Yes, 100%. 100%. If a game pops up and all you're seeing is 10s and 9s, and when you go to like Metacritic, all you're seeing is green. No yellows, no reds, green. I'm going to go into that game with full confidence, not even checking all the other review places because I've already seen enough. I'm like, damn, everybody's saying this shit is unanimously great. I have to try it out. But if you see a game where it's kind of like there's some greens, there's a couple of reds, and then there's a couple of oranges, now it's a mixed review kind of game. Now that's where that kind of gives you that like, let me look a little bit more into this. Let me not just shell out $60, $70. Let me look more into this to see if this is something I actually want to try out. Hey, I mean, it's natural.
Noise. And the reverse is also true. If everyone says it's garbage,
Yeah.
you might be less inclined to patience when you're playing it, because even if we don't consciously mean to...
Yo, and then they're showing Pokemon in the background. That's the craziest shit, bro. Because I was literally that guy that shat on Pokemon, and I still had fun with it. But the game did run like shit, though. There was still a lot of frame rate issues. Shit popping in and out of existence. And I could still say to this day, the game was fun. But man, this shit was optimized terribly. The game is fun, yes, I will say that. But the game is still optimized terribly. Like, they have to still, like, the fact that you go into, like, locations where water is there and the game starts chugging, stupid. Especially coming from a multi-billion-dollar company, from, like, what, Game Freak, Nintendo, Pokemon company. This shit should not be happening.
Those pre-constructed beliefs still influence.
You said it was more fun than
perception.
Zelda?
And this isn't just conjecture.
Oh,
There's
shit.
a 2011 study on the impact of negative
Shout out
game
to Sad
reviews and
for
user
getting me
comments
Pokemon.
on player experience that found that consuming both professional reviews and user comments, especially the negative ones, affected player experience with those games, even when you control for player mood. And interestingly, the authority of the source did not matter. They found this effect for both. This echoes another 2022 study on online reviews I dug up that found that we are not that great at identifying fake comments in reviews, regardless of the legitimacy or accuracy of these.
No, I am so good. It's so easy to find real comments and fake comments. Like, you could just tell off of the comments upon reading it if they're passionate about it. But if you have that one comment where it's like, game sucks, 0 out of 10, I'm like, most likely just a hater. If you're literally just giving it a 0 out of 10 and you're giving no substance, it's either bait or just people just hating, just to hate. How Starfield Retro? I don't know. I don't have an Xbox. I'm not going to play it.
Social information we get, we clearly cannot help but be affected.
You said
by
Persona 5 sucks 1 out of 10?
There's even
Me,
more
I would
evidence of
ask
that
you,
in this
why does
2019
it suck? I
eye-tracker
want to
study,
know your
where
reason why.
Researchers were testing the comment section's effect on YouTube videos. Participants were presented videos with either positive or negative comments. And when the groups with only negative comments on their screen chose to read them, they enjoyed the video notably less than those who did not pay attention to the comments or were only presented with positive ones, despite the fact that it was the same video for all groups. What I'm trying to say is, simply seeing a review at all cannot not influence your time with the game it's about. And no, of course a game is not a child you're trying to teach, but it was impossible for those teachers not to at least subconsciously consider those test results during their time instructing those students, and it is impossible for you to just completely not consider a review during your time with the game. If you are flooded with negativity around it, even if the source of that negativity is just weird buzz on social media, the source, as we can see, doesn't matter. It plants an expectation, a doubt, a promise, a flaw, a guarantee, even if it's just a tiny one that takes root in your subconscious.
He says Xenoblade, on the other hand, actually sucks. I feel like with Xenoblade, I'm gonna be honest because I feel like I've had a crazy relationship when it comes to the Xenoblade series. So one thing I could say about Xenoblade is starting the game. I feel like it's that beginning curve. Once you get past the beginning and then you understand the mechanics, and then it's like a switch flips in your head, and then you're like, oh, this does this. Cause yo, I remember my first Xenoblade game was actually Xenoblade 2. And then I remember in Xenoblade 2, I didn't understand the fucking combat for like, yo, remember, bro, chat, remember Xenoblade 2? How long it took me to finally understand fucking break topple launch? Bro, it took me like 40 hours into the game. You said, why am I hollering? I have to holler. Cause bro, it took me to like 40 hours into Xenoblade 2 to finally understand, wait, break goes into topple. Wait, break goes into topple and then topple goes into launch. Wait, break, topple, launch, and now what? Smash? Oh, and then then when I started seeing myself defeat these bosses like this, before it was a struggle, every battle, it was a struggle. I'm like, bro, this is taking too long. This shit is ass. This shit is boring. Then once I got the mechanics down, I was like, wait a minute. Now I'm understanding. You said Xenoblade 2's tutorials were actual garbage. Bro, it's not even that it's garbage, it's that it was just too much information. It was like info dump. It was just too much information. So like when somebody picks the game up for the first time, it deters you. Like it like when you see so much information being thrown at you too much, it puts you at a point where you're like, I don't even want to play this shit no more, because like now like I feel like I gotta study to play this game, bro. Like I feel like I'm in school.
NGL, you love to brute force games too much.
I do.
That's why you molded too much in PMD and couldn't get the hang of it.
Exactly. Because sometimes in games you just want to pick it up and play. That's why I say games like Xenoblade is not a game that you could just do that.
Do a backflip.
No, hell no, I am not gonna do a backflip. I'm gonna break my neck and I don't have insurance. You said, nah, they actually garbage. It's full mistranslated jargon. Oh, I didn't even look into that then. But bro mauled it over orbs on bosses. Nah, dude. Mystery Dungeon is not for the faint of heart. Just kind of like how Xenoblade isn't. Like if you don't understand the fundamentals on how to play Xenoblade, you're gonna fuck up like crazy. Especially with Xenoblade giving you so much different like moves that you could swap in and out.
I think that is something that is
crazy.
universally common with people that started with Xenoblade 2.
Yes.
Since all of the tutorials are thrown at you at random times, you cannot review them again, and it's too much information at once and you could never review it. This doesn't seem to happen with people who started with Xenoblade 1.
Yes.
Also, most people that say they don't like Xenoblade, they have never played it.
Oh yeah, true.
I have never seen an actual reason as to why Xenoblade could be bad.
No, I agree. Usually when I see somebody say Xenoblade is bad, I would usually ask that question afterwards. I'd be like, did you play it though? And they'd be like, nah. Or they'd be like, oh, I quit in the beginning. I'm like, oh, that's why. I'm like, you gotta play this shit. The story is great. The story is great in Xenoblade. I enjoy the story. I enjoy the characters. They're great. But yeah, man. Yup.
And I think many of us realize this to a certain degree, and in turn, actively try to avoid too many reviews. Like a lot of you pointed out, we want to know if a game is broken, but for the most part, many of us find that it's much more of an enjoyable experience when we form our own opinions with as little information as possible. If the buzz is that it's good, but we don't know exactly why, that's just enough for us to give it an optimistic go, and it's how a great many people find hidden gems. But again, many of us are well aware that reviews strongly affect our time with games, leaving us in the same shoes as those teachers. Expectations mold experience, and there's...
Oh, The Last of Us Part 2 masterpiece. Yo, IGN really gave that game a 10? IGN really gave The Last of Us 2 a 10? I don't even remember that. They gave that shit a 10. That's insane. I'm not gonna lie, my personal review for this game, I would give The Last of Us 2, and this is the fairest score ever, an 8. This game, in my opinion, gets a strong 8. And if I'm being generous, an 8.5. But I feel like this game is not a fucking 10. Not a 10. This game is an 8. You say 8 is too high? Bro, I enjoyed everything else. It's just literally the direction of the story towards the end. You gave it a 7.5 back when you beat it, you think? Did I? If I gave it a 7.5, then at least... Hey, I gave it an 8. 7.5 to an 8, in my opinion, is like the best. But a 10 is insanity. A 10 is insanity.
Oh yeah, we need a counter argument, don't we? What if those kids were taught by the people that hate The Last of Us Part 2? What if they got those exams back and said, bullshit! This child is far from a 10 out of 10, and I refuse to acknowledge that it's canon. I'm really stretching the limits of this metaphor. Do you think these kids would have had the highest IQ scores at the end of the year? Probably not. In fact, the teachers would have likely acted in such a way that confirms their opinion, an opinion that is in direct conflict with the scores that were given. So if you've ever seen a low review score for a game, really didn't want it to be true, and then you felt like that game was actually fantastic when you finally played it, your preconceptions from that review were likely still affecting your time with it. The only difference is it was sort of a self-defeating prophecy. You didn't play the game to enjoy it or see it as it is. You played it to right a wrong, make a point, fulfill your own prophecy. You played it looking for evidence to the contrary, being more critical.
No, that's true. That's true. But then, I'm not gonna lie, nothing feels better than when you play a game that you thought was gonna be bad, and then everybody says it's bad, and then you actually enjoy it. That is like the weirdest / it's a very euphoric feeling. I don't know, it feels weird. It feels good. It feels good when you play a game that everybody's like, oh, this shit's ass, and you're like, I kinda like it though. Then you keep playing it, and you're like, fuck, I'm having fun. Fuck. This is not as bad as everybody's making it seem. Like, I'm enjoying myself while I'm playing it. He says, you go to reviews to get your opinions validated. That's what yeah. Me and Shadow the Hedgehog?
Than that reviewer was, being more forgiving than that critic was. In that moment, you were an outlier. And my point still stands. Expectations still shaped your experience, just in the opposite direction of what you were told. To really nail this down, there was a study done last year that found that when people watched a review...
You said me and Sonic and the Secret Rings? No, I'm going to admit that. I played Sonic and the Secret Rings. That game was ass. But the soundtracks were fucking bangers, bro. Whenever I was running through the damn desert and all I hear is, let the speed mend it. Yo, I felt like I was on Cloud 9 running through the sand and shit, and then running on the walls, and I'm like, But man, the controls was dog shit in that game, bro.
Were alike, in this case, the similarity being what NFL team they root for. Their purchase intent was lower if they saw a 1-star review than a 5-star review. Sure, hell
yeah, of course. I see a 5 out of 5 game, I want to buy it.
Does. But when they
kinda rondon, but if you stream a 3D's game in the future and you hacked it, you can put the footage to the PC. Kid Icarus when?
That's so random. This motherfucker randomly talking about Kid Icarus. I have no idea, bro. Wouldn't Kid Icarus run weird if I play it on the DS Pro? Like, I feel like to play Kid Icarus on my PC is gonna run a little jank. Like, I feel like it's better played if you just have the DS with you and just play it like that. Yeah, it's gonna be tough because then you're gonna have to be like holding a button on one screen. I think it's better if I just play the game on my console.
Felt unlike the reviewer.
Yeah.
If it was a fan of a different team, the 1-star review generated significantly...
Play Sonic Black Knight, it's so much better than Secret Ring, you should try it.
I never played it, but probably in the future. But I've never played the Black Knight, Sonic. I like his sword though. I think, is that the one where he had like the cool golden armor? He looked cool as hell. Hey, isn't that the game where he like kissed a girl, like a human?
A higher purchase intent than the 5-star review. Essentially, when it's someone you don't identify with or you think has a dramatically different perspective than you...
Oh, that's 06, okay.
you, it can actually boost your likelihood to buy the product they are thrashing. And there will obviously always be disagreements about reviews, right? That's what makes them good conversation starters.
Yes.
There will always be buzz you don't get. There will always be hate for a game that you feel is wildly unwarranted. The point of me talking about this is not to say that people are just disagreeing to disagree. It's that it's impossible to consume reviews or buzz about a game and it just not affect how you see that game moving forward. And that's not a bad thing. We're social creatures. We want our thoughts to be compared to others, and that's evidenced by a lot of the comments I received saying that many of you actually check reviews for games after you play.
That's true. Yeah. Especially if it's a game that you were gonna buy regardless of like the reviews. Which is what I do that. Where like if it's a game that I don't care what IGN says, I'm gonna cop it day one regardless. I'll play it, I'll beat it, and then I'll look at the reviews. And then if I see some weird shit that they say, then we could call them out for it. Because then we'll be like, yo, we actually played it. Like what they're saying is bullshit. And that's what makes a good like conversation.
I did a poll on Twitter and 2/3 of you admitted to doing exactly that because you want to see if your opinions are right.
Yeah.
I'm so happy someone actually said this. But there is a kernel of truth to that notion. A lot of times we want
You said I check the reviews of people I respect to see if their thoughts aligned with my own. Other than that, I avoid reviews lest someone else's impression impact my own feelings and review.
validation that we weren't the only ones that enjoyed playing. What did other people like? What did I miss?
I love
Did you
Journey.
guys hate this as much as I did? Am I crazy? Why does everyone like this? Why doesn't anyone else like this? Of course,
Bro,
a big part of this is
that's
certainly
Kirby
much
Air
deeper
Ride. That game
than,
is goated.
Is it actually good or bad? Like maybe you just want to hear other people's interpretation.
But then, yo, you gotta also like remember, like, when it comes to video games too, a lot of the time when people would review a game, it's also like off of passion and nostalgia. Because like, let's keep it a stack. I'm gonna say something that's gonna ruffle some feathers. Kirby Air Ride is loved by the community because we grew up with it. But the game in its entirety and at its core is dog shit. That's why Nintendo has never remade Kirby Air Ride. Like the game, like think about this. Kirby Air Ride is fucking ass. But we grew up with it. So we have like a little space in our heart for Kirby Air Ride. Like you remembering playing City Trial, having your siblings or your friends coming over. We're all loomed up by the television playing together while we're playing Kirby Air Ride. Like it's like those are the memories that come flooding back when we look back at Kirby Air Ride or like whoever played it. And that's why it has such a special place in your heart. But when you like really take the time to look at the game and like look at it, you're like, oh no, this is dog shit. This is actually ass. And a lot of games are like that, especially like old school games. Like when we were children. Like I'm trying to think of a game right now. Ni no Kuni, ass. I replayed Ni no Kuni. I hated it. I was like, yo, when I played it as a kid, it was great. Replaying it, I hated it. What other game? Luigi's Mansion. Yo, I replayed it. Luigi's Mansion, some of the ghosts are fucking annoying, but it holds a place in my heart because I loved it as a kid. So even though Luigi's Mansion like acts stupid sometimes, I still love the game because I grew up with it. What else? Devil May Cry. Oh my god, bro. Devil May Cry. Yo, Devil May Cry is some ass. Devil May Cry is some ass, but it's the nostalgia. It's like, look, imagine growing up playing Devil May Cry. You probably thought that was like fucking peak. You probably thought it was peak. Okay. One thing that was never as, I don't care what anybody says, Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 was peak back then, and it is peak still now. Kingdom Hearts 2 aged like fine wine. Like Sora's movement, the way he fights, Kingdom Hearts 2 is peak. Kingdom Hearts 1 is ass. Yeah, Sora's jump. That's what makes Kingdom Hearts 1 ass. Sora jumping like this with his big ass boots. I'm like, Sora, put your fucking feet down, bro. Like, stop jumping with your dick all out. What else? What about 3? Kingdom Hearts 3. It was alright. It wasn't better than 2 though. But then Kingdom Hearts 2 might just be nostalgia goggles. I don't know.
I'm a mainline Ape Escape fan to the end of days. I replayed 3 back on the PS2 Pro and it's still peak.
Which Ape Escape did I play, Oddity? I remember I played one on stream. Was that Ape Escape 2? I think that was Ape Escape 2. I never got to play Ape Escape 3. Yo, Cal, have a good one. You're gonna walk your dog and play Pikmin? Oh, Cal, you're into Pikmin like that? Shit. You know what? Let me re-download Pikmin so I could get like, I don't know if I think Owl told me to play that shit too. Y'all need to add me on the Pikmin Go shit. Pikmin Bloom? Yo, I gotta play Pikmin 2. For real, but that's gonna be like in the future. Where the fuck is I gotta re-download it.
Interpretation of that game, and that's certainly why essay-style reviews like what you find here are pretty popular. But consuming reviews after you finish games takes that social information and plants it in a healthier spot in time.
Yes.
When we are more ready to actually process another person's opinion.
Yes.
I told you a little bit of a half-lie earlier. Remember that 2011 study where the reviews affected player enjoyment of a game? Well, the next month they ran it again, this time placing physiological sensors on gamers when they played. Afterwards, the players still reported the same results as before, enjoying games more or less depending on the valence of the review they happened to be assigned. But during play, physiologically, there was no difference. Both groups actually had the same experience, but they remembered them differently. The researchers proposed that reading reviews does not directly affect play experience, but rather is a post-play cognitive rationalization of the experience with the content of the review. Our minds have a need to resolve what is just processed, and often it looks to others to do so. Reviews, opinions, and social commentary help us make sense of what we've just played, but when you consume all of that before doing the actual playing,
yeah, it's gonna fuck up your whole perception of the game. And then it can then put you in a position where you won't even try the game. You won't even try the game. And then you'll be like that one person on Twitter that's like, oh, this game is ass. And I'm like, did you play it? Nah. But Markiplier said it was ass, so I'm going to say it's ass. Because Markiplier said it. Like, bro, I'm like, yo, you didn't even play it. You didn't even play it.
That rationalization is often made for you, even if it's the same grand old time you would have had without that commentary.
But I'm not going to lie. When it came to Starfield on the Xbox, I said that shit was ass regardless of the reviews, bro. That shit would have got a 10 out of 10. I still would have been on Twitter saying, yo, that shit is on Xbox. That's the only game y'all fucking have right now, bitch. Suck my dick. That's y'all only fucking game. I am not going to spend $500 on a console just to play one game. Suck my dick. I'm still riding on that Sony pack, bro. I don't care. I'm an Xbox hater. Literally me saying last stream I was going to buy an Xbox anyway. I might still buy one. Fuck it. I'm still going to buy an Xbox just to have it as a streaming device. Fuck it.
So, what do we make of this? What's the point in knowing this? Do we stop looking at reviews?
No. But real talk, chat. I low-key want to buy an Xbox just so I can play Halo on it. Because I know Halo's free. And I feel like some people in chat probably like, some people in chat have Xboxes. And I want to play with some people in chat randomly. Like, just hop on an Xbox and just hop on like a VC or some stupid shit.
Do we need to get?
You said why not play it on PC? Because I don't want to play it on PC. I don't like using mouse and keyboard, man. Look, I'm a controller guy. I like just using controllers. Then somebody gonna be like, oh, why don't you just plug in the controller on the PC and you can just play it that way? I don't care, bro. I just want to play with the controllers on my console, dude. Just get an Xbox controller.
Social media? Yes, to that last one. But I think as with most things,
so my PC can't handle it anyway. It could handle it, but not while I'm streaming. If I'm streaming and playing a game at the same time, that's where my PC goes. But if I'm like just streaming it and I'm not like no OBS open, none of that crazy shit happening, it'll play fine.
We all need to find a healthy balance. I cannot in good faith tell you that I think you should stop looking at reviews before you decide whether or not to pick up a title, because it would be extremely hypocritical of me. They are a fantastic resource if you are, as
in that case, if you're really gonna get an Xbox, you best get Sonic Unleashed.
But maybe take what you
game performs miles better than the 360 version.
Sonic Unleashed? It's not the one where he turns into a werewolf? Isn't that the one where he like runs in like the island with the white houses and he just says, woo! the whole time.
Grain of salt,
That one?
since there is evidence that we have a hard time distinguishing the quality of what we read before we've played. Find a source you trust and be aware that there are emotionally charged outliers out there. Remember that even if you try to ignore them, simply seeing them in the timeline or on a review board will mold your time with the game ever so slightly. So maybe if it's a game you're excited to try, stay away from social media the week or so before it comes out, and then gauge opinions once you're done.
Yup.
The point of this was to simply say that reviews affect you more than you think.
Oh, hell yeah. The Persona game, you don't even gotta show me more shit on that. I was gonna play that game regardless. Regardless.
Even if you don't talk about it, there's probably a game or two out there that you really like or would have liked that other people have convinced you is actually
Kafka. Beep. Let me stop, bro. I'm bugging.
bad. Or maybe it's vice versa. You don't actually like it that much, but it's still a masterpiece though, somehow. Expectations are unshakable in some ways, but I think...
Okay, hold on. I'm about to give you guys my Pikmin Bloom. Whoa, they updated this game a lot. Oh my god, they updated this game so much. I'm so sad. I missed out on so much shit.
Sony could revive the main antagonist of World War II and start World War III, and Retro would still decried Sony. Retro suck.
Damn, bro. He said that shit straight up with his chest. He said Retro sucks. Thank you, Electric. I appreciate you. All right. Yo, friend code right there. Don't focus on my face. Come on. There we go. Here, friend code. Friend code. You said when I'm opening Nikkei up? Bro, if y'all think I'm gonna do rolls on stream, I'm not, dude. I have the worst fucking luck whenever I do that shit live. I am not gonna be rolling. All right, y'all got it. You said, is that your IRL location? Y'all man, oh, y'all got me. Okay. Yeah, that's my friend code. Yo, they added mad new shit here. I just got a new Pikmin guy. Hold on, chat. Yo, look what I got. I got a Pikmin with a jack-o'-lantern on his head. Look. Yo, Pikmin with a jack-o'-lantern, bro. That's crazy. Oh, I'm so sad, bro. I missed out on so many events. Well, GG's for me, bro. Yellow jack-o'-lantern. I missed out. You said I look high as fuck? Who, me? Oh, Cloud? Cloud off the za? Okay.
That being aware of their effect on you can help you better understand how to...
You said how many mobile games I'm playing? I got you right now, bro. We're never going to finish this video. I'm playing Pokemon Bloom, Pokemon Cafe, Limbus Company, Nikkei, Clash of Clans, Pokemon Sleep.
Manage them and get the most out of reviews. We can't play anything in a vacuum, but don't let too many other opinions get in until you're good and ready. Just go play that shit, baby. Enjoy yourself. Or hate every second of it. It's up to you. Just make sure that it really is up to you. What's up, Chief? I hope you enjoyed this one. If you're new here, I do a video like this every month, and if you happened to miss this video I posted about a year ago, you've arrived at a great time. Essentially, I made a video explaining how I would tackle my backlog in 1 year's time, and next month, it's finally time to cover what happened, if I finished it, what I've learned, and maybe how you can do the same thing. So be sure to go check that out if you missed it, and if you didn't, go give it another watch to recap. If you like what you see here and want to support the show,
Great videos. You said what the video was about? The video was about him talking about that reviews change like the perception of games. Or like reviews changes people's perception of the game. Like if they see a game and it's getting a bunch of positive reviews, they're going to be more inclined to buy it. If it's not, they're going to be more like stray. They're going to be like, fuck that shit. I don't want it. Good video, good video. Show love to the video, chat.